Good evening. It is another hard night for me, but we must continue to go on. I am the radio guy, Mike Prince. Welcome to another episode here of the Sports Report Live. We got a lot in store for you on this evening. We're going to hear from our local high schools. We're going to hear from Greg Anderson of the Royal Falcons, Gene Johnson of the Waller Bulldogs, Royce Hill of the Hempstead Bobcats, and of course we will hear from Johnny Football Cole as he breaks down the game of the week. Jackson State goes on to take care of business against Tennessee State. Panthers fall to a heartache in Norman, Mississippi, 45-41. We'll cover all of that and more. But what we're going to do now is jump right into our high school report and come back with more of the Sports Report Live right here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. And here are the local high school results for the Waller County, Texas area, covering the weekend of September 20th. Tomball Memorial 40, Bryan 0. Lutheran South 37, Royal Falcons 6. Madisonville 43, Navasota 21. Somerville 39, Woodsboro 22. Sealy 34, Belleville 14. Iola 14, Milano 3. Weimer 47, Burton 7. Hempstead 37, Fur 27. And the Rose Hill Christian Eagles 36, West Harding 0. Those are your high school local scores for the weekend of September 20th, presented by the Temple of Refuge Ministries, located at 45372 Old Highway 290 in Prairie View, Texas.
Chris, can you put the video game controller down for a second?
I can talk and play. Oh, I'm totally annihilating this punk kid in Nebraska.
I just feel like you're not acting like a grown-up in our relationship.
Am too.
Well, you still ride your skateboard to work, there's the comic book collection, the race car bed.
Look, I'm young at heart, but I put money into my 401k every paycheck. I picked up a few savings tips at feedthepig.org. I have control over my financial life now, and that feels pretty grown up.
Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. Putting some money from every paycheck into a savings account or contributing to your 401k can make a big difference later. For free ideas and easy tips on ways to save, go to feedthepig.org. That's feedthepig.org.
So, I bet I look like a grown-up to you now.
Well, except for the footy pajamas, I'd have to agree.
This message brought to you by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the Ad Council.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We apologize. I'm having some technical difficulties on this evening. Not quite sure what is going on, but we're going to try to figure this thing out as we go along the way. But as you heard, there was a big weekend in high school sports. The Waller Bulldogs had a bye week. We'll be talking to Coach Gene Johnson here momentarily. But the Royal Falcons were not victorious as they played against Lutheran South. And they were not able to come out victorious over Lutheran South. losing by the score of 37-6. We'll hear from Coach Anderson here momentarily. The Hempstead Bobcats had to reschedule their game, and they played Fur on Saturday. Had a win over that one, 37-27. And the Angry Birds, led by head football coach Dennis Krantz, we're going to have to do a later interview with him. We have a family emergency to come up, so we won't hear from him on tonight. But the Angry Birds were able to win by the score of 36-0 over West Harding. And with that being said, the Angry Birds now go to 3-1. Their games are captured right here on the Open Mic Broadcast Network, as well as the Bulldogs, Falcons, and the Hempstead Bobcats. Well, the Prairie University Panthers had a tough bout on yesterday, playing in Lorman, Mississippi, in a conference battle against the Alcorn State Braves. Coming up short by the score of 45-41. And strong performance by DeWanye Tucker, Morton, and a total different attack for the most part by the Panthers. They're pretty much known as a pass first, run second finesse team with the run pass option plays of these sorts. But they were able to pound the ground for over 150 yards rushing. DeWanye Tucker had a strong performance, but the Panthers could not muster across the finish line, losing by the score of 45-41. Their next opponent will be the Grambling State Tigers. Grambling State Tigers having a tough bout of it right now as they fell to Alabama State by the score of 23-20. We will roughly and briefly go and hear a Grambling Tiger report from Centoria Black of the Grambling Sports Radio Network. So we'll switch over and hear from Centoria Black, and we'll be right back.
This is Centoria Black for the Grambling Sports Radio Network. The Grambling State University Tigers dropped to 0-3 on the season by losing to Alabama State University by the score of 23-20. Costly penalties hurt the Grambling State University Tigers, especially late in the ball game. But another factor in the contest was Alabama State's ability to move the football. Receiving the Alabama State University Hornets was led by Jefferson, who had 8 catches for 81 yards. Dixon, 5 catches, 52 yards, and a touchdown. Ezra Gray, 14 carries for 41 yards. But the main issue in the ball game for the Grambling State University Tigers, missed opportunities. They were not able to cash in, and they got 4 turnovers in the contest. They also missed 2 field goals. Garrett Irvin missed a field goal with 10:05 remaining in the second quarter from 47 yards, and a field goal late in the ball game that would have tied the score at 23, and in the fourth quarter with 6:07 remaining in the contest as well. The Tigers were led in passing, of course, by Jeremy Hickbottom. He was 19 of 30, 1 interception. He had 184 yards and a touchdown. He was sacked 3 times, though. Kari Nichols had 11 carries for 91 yards in the ball game. Hickbottom carried the ball 12 times for 70 yards in the contest. Elon Elder did have a touchdown in the ball game. Receiving, Lyndon Rash, he had 5 catches for 55 yards and a touchdown in the contest. The Tigers will have to get things together coming up for this weekend. They go to Dallas, Texas for the State Fair Classic to face a very hot Prairie View A&M University Ball Club. Game time is at 4 p.m. and the pregame is at 3 p.m. on the Grambling Sports Radio Network. Reporting live from the Open Mic Broadcasting Network, I'm Centoria Black.
And we do thank Centoria Black for that report. As he mentioned, blown opportunities for the Grambling State Tigers, just as there were for the Prairie View A&M University Panthers. These two teams will meet on Saturday, September 28th at the State Fair Classic in the Cotton Bowl. And you always say it's a critical game, but it is pretty much the line drawn in the sand, as history would show us, with this game coming up between the Tigers and the Panthers. The loser of this particular game would have a very difficult challenge ahead of them to be the last man standing in the West. So we'll see how all that unfolds. It is extremely a challenging time coming ahead for Coach Eric Dooley and the Panthers, as well as for Coach Roderick Fobbs and the Grambling State Tigers. We're going to take us a break, and when we come back, we'll hear our first guest of the night from the Royal Falcons, none other than Greg Anderson. You are listening to the Sports Report Live right here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. Are you one of the many Americans that deal with the effects of diabetes? Diva Skin Conditioner could be the remedy that you need. Diva Skin Conditioner is a formulation that was designed with you in mind. Diva Skin Conditioner comes with a money-back guarantee. That's how confident they are in their product. For more information, visit divafeet.com. That's D-I-V-A-H, feet.com. Or you can speak with a representative by dialing 903-270-0026. Let's face it, from time to time, we'll have a need for an attorney, whether it's the case of a DUI, DWI, or any other circumstances that would find you on the other side of the law. Attorney Lee Van Richardson, located at 1047 Austin Street, is the one to call. Attorney Lee Van Richardson and his staff are equipped to help you get through your legal battles. Attorney Lee Van Richardson, 979-826-8008 in Hempstead, Texas.
After my first car accident, I feared the biggest damage would be to my wallet. I expected a mountain of bills and a long, drawn-out process. But my Texas Farm Bureau insurance agent was there when I needed her and helped me get back on my feet and in my car in no time. Instead of a hassle, I got reassurance and a quick recovery.
Call Agent Jeremy West at 936-931-3696 to see if you qualify to save up to 40% off your auto insurance.
Coverage and discounts are subject to qualifications and policy terms and may vary by situation.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Sports Report Live. Mike Prince here with you on the Open Mic Broadcast Network. As we have been getting accustomed to you and you guys getting accustomed to us, we're ready to present our first guest of the night. Had a rough weekend against the opponents of Lutheran South. Head football coach of the Royal Falcons, none other than Coach Greg Anderson. How you doing this evening, sir?
Well, I'm doing all right. How are you?
All right. Well, good to have you with us on tonight. A tough spiel. Give us a recap, and we'll go from there.
It was a long night for us. I didn't think we played well in the first half. Had 3 turnovers, 2 of them deep in our own end, which I felt like gave them easy points. We kind of dug ourselves a hole that we couldn't get out of. Thought we played better in the second half, but like I said, that hole was just too deep for us to get out of. And like I said, we got to do a better job cleaning things up this week.
Okay. Now, once again, it's no secret. A young team still trying to, as they say, feel their way through. But you got to be impressed with the up and down sometimes. It's not good on your health or your hairline, but that's the challenge of dealing with a young team, though, right?
It really is. We are young in a lot of spots. Like I said, that showed at times against a really strong football team in Lutheran South. They're a private school tax organization, but they're a perennial playoff team. And I thought it was a good test. Like I said, I wish we'd played a little better in the first half and not made the mistakes that we made as opposed to what Lutheran was doing to us. I think it would have been a much more competitive game in the second half.
We're talking right now with Greg Anderson, head football coach of the Royal Falcons. Now, Coach, there's that old adage that by week 3, week 4, you got a true identity of what your team is and what you got. Are you at that point where you can identify your young Falcon team right now by what you have going into week 5?
I think so. Like I said, we got a pretty good feel. We know there's some areas and some things that we got to get cleaned up. You're going to have that when you're playing some sophomores on Friday night. But I feel good where we're headed. Like I said, we're a better football team now than we were 3 weeks ago. That I'm confident in saying. But we still got a long ways to go on a very tough district schedule ahead of us. So we still got a lot of work to do.
A lot of work to be done. And it, as they say, gets a little bit more personal now because you're moving into district play. So if you don't mind, line us up for your next opponent and some of your keys to victory.
Well, we have one more non-district game, and that's against Booker T. Washington.
That's right.
We actually play this coming Thursday night at Del Mar. Looking forward to it. Like I said, hopefully get a rebound game, get back in the victory column, and have a little confidence going into district as we play those 5 district games.
So the short week, I forget, your district is a little shorter than the other district. Is that because not enough schools with the balance of the UIL?
It is. They with us having split division in 4A, it kind of spreads things out a little bit. Of course, we have to travel a little bit farther with some of our district games, but it's only a 16 district, so we got 5 non-district games, 5 district games. So we got one more tune-up, and hopefully we'll go out and execute better this Thursday, even though it is a short week, and then that'll give us some confidence going into our bye week, and then as we go into those 5 district games. Okay,
now with that being said, you got a short week. It changes the whole dynamics of your preparation, especially when you're dealing with a young squad. What are some of the things that you're going to have to adjust to as you get ready for that Thursday night action?
Well, we've got to get things implemented much quicker. That makes Monday that much more important. We've got to get a lot of things installed offensively and defensively that we're putting in this week in the game plan, which really turns Tuesday into a really important day because it's really your last full work day because you want to go a little bit shorter on Wednesday being the day before a varsity game. So that really shortens your week down. Instead of having 3 real work days, you only have 2, with one of them being installation days. So it's important that we get a lot done tomorrow. Hopefully the weather cooperates when we get outside. And then Tuesday we can really get a lot of reps on that.
Okay, we're speaking again with Coach Greg Anderson of the Royal Falcons. Short week this week, a rough week. With a short week, you can get this last week behind you real quick now, huh?
Correct, and that's what I told our kids on Saturday when we came in to watch film. We got to put it behind it. We got to learn from our mistakes because our focus now has to be on Booker T because it is such a short week, and focus on the things that we got to get better at going into this short work week. Okay, now, Coach,
final couple of questions here as we get ready. We know with your young quarterback, and your running back name is escaping me now, but he's a transfer student. Is it Rowley or I forget?
Bowley.
Yeah, Bowley. Look at me, Bowley, Rowley. What? How has he been making the adjustment as a Falcon?
He's done a good job. He actually got banged up in the Hempstead game, and he's still trying to nurse that ankle back to 100% health. We held him out the following week after Hempstead. This past Friday night was the first game he played since getting hurt, and he's still not 100%. But like I said, he did some good things on Friday. Hopefully we can get him back to 100% and be ready to go by Thursday.
All right. The Falcons, a short week, and Coach Anderson, I'm sure, going to have the Falcons flying high and ready to swoop down on their next opponent, that being Booker T. Well, Coach, we want to thank you so much for making yourself available as always, and let's do this again on the same bat channel and the same bat time. How does that sound, sir?
Yes, sir. Sounds good.
All right. Coach Greg Anderson of the Royal Falcons. We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back with more of the Sports Report Live here from the Open Mic Broadcast Network.
As a dad, you'll probably spend years teaching your son how to hit a baseball, how to throw a tight spiral and hit a receiver, how to spring off a diving board and hit the water, how to hit a 1-wood and a 9-iron, how to hit the bullseye, how to hit the strike zone, hit a jump shot, hit the open man, hit the hockey net, and maybe the most challenging of all, how to hit the books. But the question is this: how much time will you spend teaching him what not to hit? Teach your son early and often that all violence against women is wrong. For tips on what to say, visit endabuse.org. Brought to you by the Family Violence Prevention Fund, the Waite Institute for Violence Prevention, the Ad Council,
and welcome back to the Sports Report Live. Mike Prince here with you, as we want to remind you, you can check us out Monday through Friday at the Mike Prince Show coming to you 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. We are covering everything from the rooter to the tutor when it comes to the world of athletics in Waller County. And with that being said, we are now going to come dead center in Waller. Well, a little bit center in Waller. But it's the Waller Bulldogs. They had a bye week, but it wasn't really a bye week. We're about to find it out right now. Coach Gene Johnson, how you doing this evening, sir?
Doing great.
All right. Well, man, technically, on paper, you had an off week. Or did you really?
Well, we did a little bit. You know, I guess on Friday and Saturday, it certainly felt like an off week. But we tried to get some work in Monday through Thursday, and we were able to do that Monday through Wednesday. But then Mother Nature had some different plans on us Thursday and shut down all of our after-school activities, but we were able for the most part to get out and get those full workouts in Monday through Wednesday.
Absolutely. We were kind of crossing our fingers, eyes, and toes with the volleyball game on Friday. We didn't know if they were going to try to postpone that or not, but we were able to get that one in. So the weather thus far is behind us right now. What were some of the things that you were working on with your young puppies? We're going to call them puppies while they're growing up into Bulldogs. So what were the young puppies working on?
Well, you know, really just not a whole lot of new stuff as much as just continually trying to develop our habits of how we practice and the way we go about things at practice. And I feel like our team has grown, you know, the week before the open week and then even last week carried over into the open week, starting to adapt a little more to the tempo that we want to practice at, and saw some growth there, so I was really pleased with that. Not a whole lot of new plays and gadgets and wrinkles, but just trying to continue to polish up systematically how we do things.
All right, absolutely. We're speaking right now with Gene Johnson of the Waller Bulldogs. We'll lay out the game plan for your next opponent and some of the keys for victory this week, Coach.
Well, I think, you know, there's a whole lot of coach speak that we give a lot of times, and I think you can probably say this every week, is that, you know, to have a chance, you got to win at the line of scrimmage. And but if you can say that every week, there's probably no week that it's any more important than this week coming up. These guys have 3 of their 5, I think, offensive linemen or Division I offensive linemen that have big offers from big schools, and they're big up front. They're very physical on the defensive line. They have some great players there as well. So anything that we do that's gonna translate into success is gonna have to be involved with maintaining the controlling of that line of scrimmage. And so that'll be the biggest challenge. And then I think you know, defensively they run to the ball well, and so we have got to stay engaged in blocks. And if we can't you know, if they do a better job of defeating blocks and getting off blocks and running to the football, then it's going to be a long night for us. I think, conversely, if we can stay engaged, you know, then I think we have a chance. Defensively, kind of coach speak, but we got to eliminate the big play and keep running to the football. And you know, they've got some good players on offense, and they're explosive offensively. But I think if you take the big play away and force them to execute and sustain long drives, then we'll have some success. So I think the biggest thing is staying engaged and being able to run the football on offense, and then obviously taking away that big play on defense and just playing sound defense.
Well, when you're talking about taking away the big play, and it doesn't matter, in all honesty, whether it's Pee Wee, junior varsity, collegiate, or professional, it starts in those trenches. But it seems that is probably the most challenging position to quote-unquote recruit for, especially when you have a young athletic guy who's probably been used to running the ball most of their life, but as they get older, they're not as fast, but they're strong, have a strong football IQ. How challenging is it to convince a guy who might be a tight end that maybe he need to play guard or tackle?
Yeah, that obviously is one of the biggest challenges, you know, in high school sport. And you're talking about, you know, from the recruiting aspect, it's fair enough to say that, because we get what we get on our campus, but certainly sometimes we're trying to recruit, as you say, a linebacker to come over and play offensive line, or a tight end to step down and play offensive line. And that's also, though, why I think coaches have such a huge heart for their offensive linemen. You know, even the defensive ends and those defensive tackles, they have their chance at glory. Every once in a while, that ball pops up and they find them an interception, or they grab a fumble. And, meanwhile, you've got those guys over there on the offensive line, and they don't even get to look at the football, So it's certainly a position that not a lot of kids matriculate towards, and on both sides of the ball. But then you find that, and our little motto that we're talking about this week is selflessness. And so it ties in perfectly in talking about those guys, because they certainly, are guys that are selfless, and they do a great job working for the team so that other players can get maybe the limelight and be successful. And yet, as we mentioned, they can be the most important piece of the puzzle. And I think sometimes they know that and understand that, and that's what allows them to keep going when they're not getting to carry the football or they're not getting the ball thrown to them.
Well, I was teasing with my brother the other day. I'm an old linebacker myself and played some guard. And I said, if I had a chance to do it all over again, you know what I'd have done? I'd have done one or two positions, Coach. I'd have been a kicker or a long snapper.
Well, you've been around football and you've watched for a long time, because I don't think that's what I tell a lot of these young guys, that maybe you're a backup linebacker, or maybe you're a athletic defensive end that's not getting to play a lot. Man, that long snapping is something that you ought to look at, because we had several that were recruited at Cypress Ranch that all they could do was snap the ball and get the ball back there on punt. So if you add some athleticism into it, which some of these other kids have, maybe at a linebacker position, and you can actually run down and cover somebody, heck, there's a lot of guys make a lot of money in the NFL just for doing that.
Hey, man, there are guys that we've never heard of, have played in the league for 15, 20 years as a long snapper. And you're going like, long snapper, I never thought of that. Well, guess what? And for the most part, it's still a physical sport. They're less likely to get injured on something major because of the rules that have been implied, especially in this modern game of football.
No doubt. If I don't have a son, so maybe I'll just train up my daughter to maybe be a kicker. Maybe she can't do the long snapping, but maybe I can convince her of being a kicker.
Hey, you never can tell. We're talking right now with Coach Gene Johnson. Bulldogs coming off a bye week, and Coach, once again, you're going to be on the road this week, right?
We're at home. And if you don't mind, I would take a plug, and we'll have a very special week this week. We've got a young lady that's on campus that this is in a cancer awareness week with a little program that she puts together. And then there's a program that's very dear to my heart, and that's the Coach to Cure for muscular dystrophy. It's specifically for Duchenne's muscular dystrophy, but we'll have three guys. One of those is actually a Waller graduate. David Gonzalez will be out along with two other young men to take part with us in the game festivities. And it's a national program. People can find it on, just hitting the search engines on Google and search up Coach to Cure. You'll see a lot of the colleges across the country will be wearing the patches for an awareness about muscular dystrophy and the search for a cause for it. And so it's actually a home game, and I apologize, but I wanted to put a plug in there.
Oh, no, there's no need to apologize.
Coach to Cure.
No need to apologize for that at all. That's what we're here for. That's what we're here for, you to tell your story, for us to highlight these kids and inform the community. So please give the website, phone number, anything that someone could do if they want to help contribute to the cause.
Yeah, absolutely. If they just Google search up Coach to Cure, I don't want to give a incorrect address. I don't have it off the top of my head, but we'll be selling $5 T-shirts for the Coach to Cure, and we'll have a big fundraiser that's going to take place at Backdoor Pizza on Wednesday night, where 10% of the proceeds for anybody that comes and dines in or dines out will be given towards that cause of trying to find a heal or a solution for the trouble that comes with muscular dystrophy. So anybody that's looking for dinner plans Wednesday night, we'd encourage them to come join us.
Hey, Backdoor Pizza is not a bad place. In fact, we're trying to get them become part of the support family. So maybe we can try to do something live there on Wednesday night. What time will it start on Wednesday, Coach?
We are running, I believe, from 5 to 8 p.m. on Wednesday night. And I think they're pretty open, though. If you're there a little early or a little late, I think they're going to work with us.
Well, I tell you what, when we get done with the show, and maybe sometime tomorrow, we'll do some logistics and we'll try to work some things out and do a live remote from there on Wednesday night. How that sound, sir?
Oh, that'd be awesome. Would love that.
All right, Coach Gene Johnson of the Waller Bulldogs. And, Coach, before we get out of here, who you playing this week? I didn't look at my schedule. Forgive me.
Magnolia
That's right.
Bulldogs.
The Battle of the Bulldogs. And
yes,
I get tongue-tied every time. I always say I know there's going to be a Bulldog that wins. So the Battle of the Bulldogs this weekend at the Waller Bulldog Stadium. Coach Gene Johnson and crew will be there ready to strap it on. Coach, thank you so much. We're going to take a break, and we'll be back with more of the Sports Report Live here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. Are you one of the many Americans that deal with the effects of diabetes? Diva Skin Conditioner could be the remedy that you need. Diva Skin Conditioner is a formulation that was designed with you in mind. Diva Skin Conditioner comes with a money-back guarantee. That's how confident they are in their product. For more information, visit divafeet.com. That's D-I-V-A-H, feet.com. Or you can speak with a representative by dialing 903-270-0026. Let's face it, from time to time, we'll have a need for an attorney, whether it's the case of a DUI, DWI, or any other circumstances that would find you on the other side of the law. Attorney Lee Van Richardson, located at 1047 Austin Street, is the one to call. Attorney Lee Van Richardson and his staff are equipped to help you get through your legal battles. Attorney Lee Van Richardson, 979-826-8008 in Hempstead, Texas.
After my first car accident, I feared the biggest damage would be to my wallet. I expected a mountain of bills and a long, drawn-out process. But my Texas Farm Bureau insurance agent was there when I needed her and helped me get back on my feet and in my car in no time. Instead of a hassle, I got reassurance and a quick recovery.
Call Agent Jeremy West at 936-931-3696 to see if you qualify to save up to 40% off your auto insurance.
Coverage and discounts are subject to qualifications and policy terms and may vary by situation.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Sports Report Live. Mike Prince here with you. We're rolling right along. Thanking our last guest, Coach Gene Johnson of the Waller Bulldogs. He'll be taking on Magnolia this week. And we now have moved east. I said west last week. I said west. It's west, not east. Look at that. We're going west now to Hempstead, Texas. They were victorious over Fur by the score of 37-27. Here with us is none other than Coach Royce Hill. How you doing this evening, sir?
Oh, I'm doing just fine this evening. I appreciate you having me on again.
Well, I appreciate you coming on in here with your Barry White sounding self on a Sunday evening.
Hey, I don't know about all that. I don't know about Barry White, but I'll do the best I can.
Well, hey, homecoming advanced. You had a Saturday game, brought me back to my old childhood memories when I played high school ball back in St. Louis. We played on Saturdays. And you guys get a chance, homecoming week, win 37-27. Give us a recap of the weekend that was.
Well, you know, it was a bit of a change for our young men when we had our team meeting Thursday and Friday. You know, when everything kind of started heading towards the Saturday contest, I kind of asked the question in the room. I said, "How many of you guys have ever played a Saturday varsity football game?" And I mean, I knew the answer full well, but I just wanted to make sure they understood what we were dealing with, and especially with it being homecoming weekend. I knew there were a lot of festivities going on, you know, Friday night, and wanted them to understand that, you know, everything is pushed back a day. Their Thursday night has now become their Friday night, and they needed to take care of their business, take care of their bodies, and sacrifice accordingly.
Absolutely, and sacrifice accordingly was exciting game. A total of 64 points scored. Those are exciting games to watch, but not to participate in as a coach, huh?
No, not at all. And I think the first quarter, I felt like our kids slept walk through it. I mean, a few times I had to call a timeout just to, kind of wake them up. I don't know, how many of them partook in the Friday night activities, but it just seemed like we didn't have a lot of fire coming to that first quarter. We played the first quarter and were on defense the entire first quarter. And I don't know that I've ever been in 23 years a part of a football game where the one team kept the ball the entire quarter, but that's exactly what happened. So, it was definitely their game plan to keep the ball away from us, and basically if we didn't have the ball, we couldn't score. And that's kind of what they did early.
Well, sometimes the best defense is a ball controlling offense, and it keeps you close, especially when you might think that you have some mismatch going into the game. And as a result, you still had enough horsepower and firepower to get through the storm.
And that's, I was proud of our kids. I mean, because we like I said, we gave up that, 20 play drive there early. They go in and score. They kicked the ball off to us, and our kids responded. I mean, we went right down. We answered, and I think that kind of gave our kids confidence. No, we just have to get that ball back. We knew if we could get that ball back, that it would be tough to stop us. So that was something I was proud of our kids. They handled that well, and ended up coming out on top.
We're speaking right now with Coach Royce Hill of the Hempstead Bobcats, victorious over Fur this weekend out of HISD. And before we move on to your next week's opponent, a lot of stress levels I could imagine for the Fur coaches staff and some of their players dealing with the storms that we just had too, huh?
Yes, there were. And I said we had open dialogue the entire week. Coach Cornell Gray is a great guy over there, Like I said, I've known him before we even played, and so we talked quite a bit throughout the week, as far as what he was dealing with, what his kids were dealing with at school. He was sending me videos of what was going on around the school, so it was a lot of open dialogue and communication about what they were dealing with and where we needed to go, and it all culminated in Friday. He called late Friday night, and he and the athletic director, HISD, they were just adamant they really wanted to play. They felt like it was good for their kids, to get out and play and to come to Hempstead. So we found a way to set it up for Saturday at 4:00, and I was glad that we did.
Absolutely. And, that goes back to the healing powers of athletics from my vantage point. A lot of people fail to realize, I think, the point. It's not about just wins all the time. I'm going to say when it comes to winning and losing, I'm going to say it's 95%. No, I'm just messing with you. It's really about 25 to 50%, but then it's about the character building. It's about team working. It's about dealing with adversity. And to believe it or not, those few hours that it took to travel, play the game, and then return back home, it was an escape for everyone involved, as a community, as a staff, and as a person that may have been affected by the storms, to just escape in the world of athletics for that time.
Well, yes, sir. And, as you're saying that, I'm thinking, because I've been through so many different situations that I've seen athletics and football bring communities together as a whole. I mean, I saw in 2011, I'll never forget, when we go to the state finals and I see people from all over Waller County with their green on. I see Waller Bulldogs with green on. I saw some Brookshire Falcons with green on. And then I coached in Jasper, Texas during a very tough time, and some racial divide there. And I saw football bring that community together. So it's something that brings communities together, and allows people to put apart their differences and just come together as one as a whole.
Absolutely. Sure. You brought back a great memory, that 2011 championship year. Of course, we were there at Jerry's World. We broadcast that game. Been broadcasting you guys for a long time. I tell you, I'm getting old at this, man. And I can remember getting a letter from London, and it was a military person from London who grew up in Hempstead, Texas. And they were able to listen to that broadcast by way of the internet. And it was just a powerful moment, man. And we were so glad. I might have to go pull that game out and replay it. I know you lost, but just to replay it. And we had over 4,000 live listeners to listen to that broadcast that night, man. It was awesome.
Wow. Yeah, like I said, that is a powerful experience altogether for everyone involved, for sure.
Yes, sir. We're speaking with Coach Royce Hill. Man, we done got so deep into the political side of sports. Who's your next opponent, man, and what's going to be the keys for success?
Well, we're playing the Teague Lions on Friday night. Last year when I scheduled these guys, I remember I had a good friend of mine. I called and asked him. I said, I didn't know much about Teague up in that area other than they were a perennial power. And I asked him. I said, so what can you tell me about them? And he said, hey, are you playing them? And I said, yes, I am. And he said, you're committing suicide, scheduled suicide.
I remember we broadcast that game that night. I said, good tarnations. What's going on here?
But, so they do a great job with that program. The Coach Osborne has been there. He actually, I spoke to him quite a bit before the game last year and learned a lot about him and his program. He's been there forever. He actually stepped away for a while and went into administration as a principal. The job came back open, and they asked him to come back out, and he's done it. Like I said, so he's kind of a legend there in Teague. I know Coach Osborne, so it's an honor and a pleasure to get to coach against someone like that. Tremendous job that he does with those kids up there.
Yes, sir. And hurry up and get through this committed series, though. We're talking right now with Royce Hill of the Hempstead Bobcats. With all kidding aside, you're going to have to play an A game. You're going to have to be on point with your execution. And more importantly, and I think you'll agree with me, the guys are going to have to show some self-control and self-discipline in that game.
That's for sure. That's something that we're going to have a heart-to-heart. We had a heart-to-heart the other night after the game, and I think, our young men, they see different sides of me. We won, and I was proud of them for that. But I actually had to send them a message later just congratulating them because I was so hard on them after that game the other night. Because there were so many things, like I tell them, that I think the potential that they have. And I think that's what, drives me, to make sure that they're reaching that potential and maximizing what they have. And so we're going to have to clean up a lot of things, starting tomorrow. And we're going to have, like I say, a heart-to-heart. We're going to have some work that's going to have to be done, get going into this week, going into our bye week in Prairie district for sure.
Yes, sir. Well, Coach, you know that we're always rooting for you guys and want nothing but the best for you and your crew. And let's just say, man, whenever comes up, you find a way to work it out. And we're just glad to say that we know a Coach Royce Hill.
Well, I tell you what, I'm glad that I know Michael Prince. And like I said, I say it all the time. Like I said, but what you do for the community is just goes without words. It's just great for the whole community as a whole.
Well, we're trying, brother. We're trying extremely, extremely hard. Good luck to you, sir, on next week. Coach Royce Hill and the Hempstead Bobcats taking on the rough bunch from Teague. Boy, I don't envy you at all. We're going to take us a college sports break, and we'll be right back with the Johnny Football himself, Johnny Cole. Keep it where you got it. We'll be right back. Here are the scores over the weekend from the Southland Conference. Nichols State 48, Stephen F. Austin 30, Abilene Christian 17, McNeese 10, Houston Baptist 48, Northwestern 21, Sam Houston 45, Incarnate Word 6, Southeast Louisiana 45, Lamar 34, Hawaii 35, and Central Arkansas 16. Over in the MEAC, Army 52, Morgan State 21, Montana State 56, Norfolk State 21, North Carolina Central 45, Elizabeth City 7, Bethune-Cookman 22, Mississippi Valley 6, and perhaps the most anticipated renewal of a rival found Florida A&M over Southern University by the score of 27-21. Over in the Southwestern Athletic Conference, Arkansas Pine Bluff continues to stay hot with their win over Tennessee State 37-31. Alabama State 23, Grambling State 20, Samford 55, Alabama A&M 21. And another thriller between the Alcorn State Braves and the Prairie View A&M University Panthers found Alcorn outlasting the Panthers 45-41. Big 12 action. 25th ranked TCU upset by SMU 41-38. Baylor 21, Rice 13. Number 12th ranked Texas Longhorns outlast the Oklahoma State Cowboys 36-30. Conference USA, North Texas 45, UTSA 3. UTEP fell to Nevada by the score of 37-21. Over in the SEC, Missouri Tigers 34, South Carolina 14. And the battle at Kyle Field, number 17th ranked Texas A&M Aggies falling short to the number 8th ranked Auburn Tigers by the score of 28-20. This has been your college update from the Open Mic Broadcast Network. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You heard the scoreboard report brought to you by Texas Farm Bureau Insurance of Waller, Texas. They're located at 3019 Waller Street in Waller, Texas. You can give Jeremy West a call at 936-931-3696. It is now time for us to go to the world of college football, and we're going to have some things broken down by none other than Johnny Football Cole. Coach, how you doing this evening, sir?
Good. I'm doing great. How you doing, Mike?
Hey, man, I'm trying to make it, brother. I'm trying between the Steelers, the Panthers, and everything else, man. I don't know what to do. I don't know. I don't know what to do. So we gonna figure it out, though. Talk to me, man. What's going on?
Man, I tell you what, boy, we got some good football going on, and you know that one team up north, Arkansas Pine Bluff. I had the opportunity to watch that, and hey, they not the Pine Bluff of old. You're gonna have to pull your bootstraps up and get ready for them. But, the game of the week I had was Prairie View and Alcorn State, buddy. I tell you what, Alcorn was able to come back at the end and score and win 45-41. It was a shootout.
Yes, sir. It was a shootout and a disappointing shootout for me, but I will live. Yeah.
Well, you know, one thing you can't do is turn the ball over. And Prairie View had 4 turnovers, you know, and Alcorn took advantage of them. You know, you can't turn the ball over 4 times on a good football team.
Absolutely. But you know what I really did admire is that the Panthers attacked with the run more this week than they had done all season long. And I was really pleased to see that.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, and you know, and I've been watching a lot of football, and if I could just tell these coordinators and some of these head coaches, there's 2 things gonna win a championship, and I've been on 4 championships and 2 national championships, running the football and playing good defense. And you know, I remember when I was a young offensive coordinator in OVC, and I led the OVC the first 2 years in passing at 300 yards a game, but I was at the bottom in rushing. Mm-hmm. And, of course, we didn't win our championship until that 3rd year, you know. So you got to run the football. You know, you got to control the game. I know this spread offense is all around and everybody pitching the ball here and there. But when it becomes a short field, you got to be able to punch it in.
Yes, sir. Well, you know, I call that, it's kind of like, I call it the finesse attack. And it's exciting to watch. People get excited and they you know, the thrilling plays. But sometimes what makes you laugh will end up making you cry. And you end up looking at that and you get up to these big leads, but then you have no personnel, no style of taking control of the game with a run game and a solid enough defense that's rested up that they don't have to be out there after 3 or 4 plays and they're out there being overexerted.
You just said something. Control the game. And sometimes when you watch these offenses, they just pass. They could be up 2-3 touchdowns, and they'll come out 1, 2, 3 out and burn none but a minute, put their defense back out there, team score. They come out again, pass. Another minute roll out, put their defense back, team scores. Now Now it went from a 3-touchdown game to a 1-touchdown game. And Prairie View at the second half, they started giving that ball to Tucker, and he started running and started to draw that defense up. Then they started going over top, and that's when they took control of the game. Alcorn kind of slowed up. They were running the ball in the first half, but then in the second half, they started not running the ball. They started pitching the ball around, and Prairie View kept scoring. And, and at the end, when you look at the stats, Prairie View outgained them on the ground. Both teams threw the ball well up in the air, and scoring everywhere, but the defense was on the field most of the time.
Right. And when it came time to a critical moment, when you want your defense to be able to bow their neck and come up with that stance or the possible turnover, they couldn't quite make that happen. But it's one of those deals. For me, when I was looking at this schedule and I did a projection of the Panthers season back in July, and people thought that I was crazy when I had them, but they're right where I thought they would be right now. 1-3 going into the State Fair Classic. Grambling has been a team that's struggling right now. They're 0-3. They lost a conference game against Alabama State. Yeah, 23-20. Now, here is the tale of two tapes or two stories we should have. Coach Dooley, of course, was the offensive coordinator for Fobbs at Grambling. They go separate ways. If you listen to the rumor mill, they're not on the best of terms right now, which is the added flair or the backstory to the main story, and that's the game to take place this Saturday. When you look at these two teams, how do you measure them up? What do you see as a strength for one and the strength for the other, and then vice versa, the weaknesses that they have to overcome?
Well, ain't no doubt that both teams like to spread it out and get up and down the field. And I would say I would take Grambling's defense over Prairie View's, but yet I would take Prairie View's offense because Coach Dooley do a good job of making sure he spread it around and he gets it to his playmakers. If I was him, I would just get the ball to Tucker a little more and maybe give it to him more earlier in the game. And like we talked about earlier, you got to play with your defense. You got to play with your defense's weaknesses and strong points. You want to keep them off the field. The more your defense is off the field, that means what? You have the ball and their offense is not scoring.
Right. Well, one thing we noticed, I didn't mean to cut you off, Coach, Prairie View had a vast improvement and increase of time of possession this week. Last week, they held the ball for 20 minutes and 46 seconds. This year was over. This week it was over 30 plus minutes, and that was a huge improvement in my eyes. And you look for those type of things. They had some special teams play. Once again, the Achilles heel was the ability to stop the run when needed to, or get a good defensive turnover when needed to, or stand when you needed to. And it's just the missing it factor, man. You scoring these points, but you got to stop the other guys from scoring too.
Well, and one reason why they had the ball for 30 minutes, they started running the football in the second half.
Right.
They ran the ball 45 times.
Yes, sir.
And you got a good back, and you got good wide receivers. I mean, I think they're good, period. But you got to be able to control the game. You got to see what's going on. If my defense is wearing down, are they getting some good runs? Are we moving the ball or going 1, 2, 3 and out? We need to be able to slow it up, play with the clock. It's so many varieties in playing the game. You just got to see where you are.
Yes, sir. We're talking right now with Johnny Football Cole, our football guru analyst here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. Just recap the Prairie View A&M University Panthers. But there was another big game and a reuniting of a storied franchise, and that being the Southern Jaguars and the FAMU Rattlers. 27-21, FAMU's the last man standing in front of 27,000 plus fans, as reported on the attendance. What you think about that, Coach?
Well, I tell you what, that's old school. That's how it used to be. Southern definitely travels, and Florida A&M has a big following as well. And you got two great coaches that's been there. Coach Simmons at one at Prairie View, and you know, he's an outstanding young coach, and so is Southern's coach. He's a guy that's almost he's at the mountain. He just ain't went over yet. You know,
yes,
he
sir.
does a great job with that program down there in Baton Rouge.
Now, when I look at this, and it might even sound selfish, but so be it. I look at a FAMU and I look at a Tennessee State, and logistically, I think that those two institutions would be a perfect fit for the Southwestern Athletic Conference. They are regionally located where they would be a good fit. They would have great instant rivals, and it could be a financial windfall for everyone involved. What do you think it would take to lure those two to the Southwestern Athletic Conference, if at all possible?
Well, that would make us have 12 teams. I think it would be definitely a great fit for the both of them to join the SWAC conference. Traditionally, they've both been strong football teams. You know, Tennessee State has a big win-loss record over the SWAC or HBCU teams, you know, playing in Ohio Valley Conference, and Coach has done a great job up there at Tennessee State. But I think it would be a good fit.
I think so too, man. The only thing that I would request is that FAMU would have to make a choice. They're going to have to be either green and white, orange and white, but they can't be green and orange. I can't stand that.
Well, I tell you, if one thing I would love to see is both the SWAC and the MEAC take their big games and put it together for a TV package, a $60-100 million TV package, and put that together so we can see black college football on. Not only can we see it, we'll see the best teams playing in the best classics, and we'll see the fans, and that will give our people that we do come out and we do support our black college football.
You know what, man? You're speaking my language, and it's something that I've been drumming for a long time, or beating the drum on, I should say. But I tell you what, man, I don't know why it is, but time flies when you're having fun. I got to take a break and get ready to come for this closing segment, but we're going to have to talk about this in detail. Could you promise me we can get that done?
Oh, no question.
All
I would love to talk about one thing I've been thinking about since I've been playing black college football.
Yes, sir. Johnny Football Cole, our college guru here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network and the Sports Report Live. We're going to take a break and come back with our closing thoughts and comments. Keep it right there.
The voice of student athletics, the Open Mic Broadcast Network.
Are you one of the many Americans that deal with the effects of diabetes? Diva Skin Conditioner could be the remedy that you need. Diva Skin Conditioner is a formulation that was designed with you in mind. Diva Skin Conditioner comes with a money-back guarantee. That's how confident they are in their product. For more information, visit divafeet.com. That's D-I-V-A-H, feet.com. Or you can speak with a representative by dialing 903-270-0026.
After my first car accident, I feared the biggest damage would be to my wallet. I expected a mountain of bills and a long, drawn-out process. But my Texas Farm Bureau insurance agent was there when I needed her and helped me get back on my feet and in my car in no time. Instead of a hassle, I got reassurance and a quick recovery.
Call Agent Jeremy West at 936-931-3696 to see if you qualify to save up to 40% off your auto insurance.
Coverage and discounts are subject to qualifications and policy terms and may vary by situation.
Let's face it, from time to time, we'll have a need for an attorney, whether it's the case of a DUI, DWI, or any other circumstances that would find you on the other side of the law. Attorney Lee Van Richardson, located at 1047 Austin Street, is the one to call. Attorney Lee Van Richardson and his staff are equipped to help you get through your legal battles. Attorney Lee Van Richardson, 979-826-8008 in Hempstead, Texas. And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, we've gone through another hour It is time for us to exit stage left, but we want to thank our guest on tonight, Coach Greg Anderson, Coach Royce Hill. We also want to thank Coach Gene Johnson and the football guru himself, Johnny Football Cole. We want to thank our sponsors, Diva Skin Conditioner, Texas Farm Bureau Insurance, and attorney Lee Van Richardson. I am the radio guy, Mike Prince. Thanking you guys so much for joining us on this Sunday night live of the Sports Report Live. Until the next time, you guys be blessed, and we'll see you on the other side.